I kind of feel blasphemous for making this review. Hello and welcome to my Once Upon a Time in Hollywood spoiler review. My name's Jake Miller and thanks for being here. The main reason I'm going straight to a spoiler review is for two reasons. Reason number one, it's already been out in the States for a month. And reason number two, I can't really talk about this movie the way I want to talk about it and in depth without really talking about spoilers and key plot points. Before we jump into this, I do entertainment news, vlogs, movies every week, so make sure to subscribe down below so I can make more content for you guys. It'll be much appreciated. And in case you're unaware, spoiler review means there's gonna be spoilers, so if you haven't seen this movie yet, leave this in your liked column, come back to me. And if you don't care about it or you've seen the movie, let's just jump into it. So my thoughts. You guys know how much I love Quentin Tarantino. Pulp Fiction is one of my favourite movies of all time. I love his style, I love the dialogue, and I like how he takes a genre and just adds a fresh new take to it. And my favourite style of movies that he does is the ones that take place in Los Angeles, and more specifically take place in the Los Angeles underworld kind of vibes. I'm talking Reservoir Dogs, Jackie Brown, and of course Pulp Fiction. And so when I heard about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I heard about the specific themes that it's going to be focusing on, my expectations went up. The fact that the movie takes place in Hollywood, 1969, and it's going to focus on characters that revolve around the entertainment industry, expectations went up again. And then the cast, Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, Al Pacino, Kurt Russell. Damn, expectations went up again. I genuinely thought this could be set up to be an amazing film. And that might be why I'm kind of disappointed. And that's partly my fault. You guys know I try to go into movies without any expectations at all. But being a Quentin Tarantino film, and being the reasons I just stated, it was really hard for me to have no expectations for this movie. And I guess that's kind of a good thing, because I'd love to be in a position where people hold such high expectations, and I almost consistently succeed them. So I'm going to switch it around from my normal formula, and I'm going to talk about the things that I didn't like, and then I'm going to talk about the things that I did like. And some of you might agree or disagree, but let me know down below in the comments. So I thought it was way too long, like way too long. There were scenes that could have been shortened, and then there are also scenes that just could have been cut completely. There were characters that could have been cut completely. I think it's different to his other films where, yeah, they're slow, but they still have a pace. Because you can have a slow movie that still has a good pace and pushes the plot forward. The whole pilot western thing, I feel like that really could have been reduced. I understand why Tarantino withheld the action and the brutality for so long, because it was the ending of the movie that really gave the audience and myself quite a shock. But we'll get there. And as I said, a lot of the characters really could have had their scenes cut. Going into the movie, I thought Al Pacino and Kurt Russell's characters, I thought they were really going to be like a Mr. Wolf from Pulp Fiction, or Leonardo DiCaprio's character in Django. But if their characters were completely cut from the movie, I genuinely think they would have gotten to the same destination where the story ended up, as if they weren't there at all. And I don't really think that either of the characters really brought anything to the story. My opinion is, if they weren't advertised and they were fun cameos, because they really were cameos, it would have been fun and impressive, and I would have enjoyed it. But for me at least, I found they advertised him in the trailers, they really pushed him as part of an ensemble cast, they're even on the posters, and yet they were kind of irrelevant. And the big one, Margot Robbie as Sharon Tate. Let me start by saying, you guys know how much I love Margot Robbie. She's Australian, awesome. I think she was one of the standouts and the few good things in Suicide Squad. She was great in Focus, she was great in Wolf of Wall Street, I, Tonya. I think she's a great actress and a great person in general. But I honestly don't think her character was needed at all. Her whole character could have been mentioned by another character, or she could have made small cameos like Al Pacino or Kurt Russell. I get that her purpose was to set up the murder and really skew the audience expectations. And in the end, it was Pitt and DiCaprio's characters that were really targeted. But if you knew about the murders, I feel like just mentioning that she lives next door, or showing her every now and then in small cameo roles, I think that would have had the same impact. And if you didn't know about the murders, I don't feel the script portrayed it enough that you'd even know in the first place. There's one scene with Charles Manson in it, that scene where he walks up to Sharon Tate's house, and the whole reason he does it is because he thinks somebody else lives there. But that's a minute, 2 minutes, and then he's never seen again. I just think with the nearly 3 hours runtime, because this is a long movie, there was a lot of Tarantino traits with the long dialogue scenes and the long establishing shots and driving scenes, but not a lot of driving the plot forward. So that's the things that let me down. Some of you may agree, some of you may disagree, because film's subjective and not everybody's going to agree. But let's get to what I liked about the film, nay, loved about the film. Because there were some things in this film that I absolutely loved. The aesthetics and the acting was really the difference between me liking the film and not liking the film. The negatives, like I just stated, is why I didn't love the film. However, the aesthetics and the acting is the reason why it's still a thumbs up for me, rather than a thumbs down. And let me tell you why. Although this got sold as an ensemble film, It's really focused on Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt's relationship in the film, and how their lives are completely different in Hollywood, and yet they're pretty much almost inseparable. That was great. It's probably the best performance I've seen of Brad Pitt in a long time, maybe even 10 years. And DiCaprio's always great. I personally think he's one of the best actors working in Hollywood right now. One of the things he did bring, though, is I thought he started bringing a bit of comedic chops and comedic timing into the movie, which I haven't really seen much in his movies. Because now that I think about it, this isn't really a drama film, and it's not really a crime film. If anything, it's kind of a tragic comedy. And the aesthetics. Hollywood in 1969 has such a unique look, and it was amazing. This was an expensive movie to make, and you can really see that all the money was poured into making Hollywood look like 1969. This isn't CGI, this is real life sets that were built. There's shots on the highway, a real highway, that I don't know if they shut the highway down, but it's not CGI. They've actually filmed the highway and it looks just like it would, I'm guessing, in 1969. I'm not that old, so I don't know for sure, but it doesn't look like how it looks today. And lastly, the scenes. As I keep saying, there's a lot I didn't like about this film, but some of the scenes in this movie were some of the best scenes I think Quentin Tarantino's ever done. And not just that, I think they're some of the best scenes in movies. I'm gonna have to sit back and watch it a few more times and let time pass a little bit, but I genuinely think some of the scenes in this, just great acting, great timing, everything. The scene with the little girl when they're reading the books, and it's just her and DiCaprio just talking, reading the book. She's got a great energy, and as I said, DiCaprio is one of the best actors working today, and I think she was right on par with him. It didn't seem like a child actor going, oh, she was good for a child actor. I thought she was good for an actor. Being there when DiCaprio's Rick was crying and really struggling because of the book he was reading connected so much with his life. The scene of DiCaprio in the trailer yelling at himself, I'm sure we've all been there. And the whole reason this is a spoiler discussion, rather than a spoiler-free review, is that last 30 minutes of the film. The whole film, if you knew what was going to happen, you're waiting for Sharon Tate to get murdered, you're trying to work out how DiCaprio and Pitt's characters are going to fit into that, and throughout the film it's built up and it's built up and it's built up and you know what's going to happen, and you see the Manson family walking up the driveway, and then they go into Rick's house. And that scene was amazing. The tension that's built up. Damn! The tension that's built up was amazing. And then followed by such brutality and violence. And as I said earlier, it honestly shocked me. And I've seen all of Tarantino's films, and none of them, not Django, not the Gimp scene, not the ear scene in Reservoir Dogs, none of them bothered me. It's a movie, I understand that. But because it was built up and the rest of the movie was so tame, it was a, oh, damn! Kind of moment. And who else wants a dog that's that well trained? I think my favourite shot in the whole movie is when the Manson family's in the house, Brad Pitt's in there, tripping out on acid, the dog's about to attack, and he just so subtly goes. The dog sees that, and he waits. And then, perfect. And that was also set up in the scene where Brad Pitt was in his house, and he has nothing but mac and cheese, dog food, and his dog. And to show how well trained that dog is and the relationship that they have, and how much he cares for Booth. And then when you don't think it's going to get any worse, the flamethrower comes out. And it's a nice callback to near the beginning of the film. And then when all is said and done, Sharon Tate and Rick meet, which for the whole film they haven't even crossed paths once. I think the only time was when she pulled into the driveway with Polanski, but they didn't talk, they didn't meet eyes, nothing. He gets invited next door to Sharon's. She comes out on the driveway, there's an above shot looking down at the driveway, they hug, go inside, and the titles come up. And honestly, I don't know if I loved that or I hated it. I'm still not sure yet. It was such a shock for me that when the titles came up, I didn't move, I didn't react. Because I thought that it was still going to happen. I thought she was still going to get murdered, and there was going to be another shock right at the end. But there wasn't. And so I'm sure I missed heaps of stuff. I just really want to talk about this movie in an open discussion formula. There's so much to talk about with this movie. I could talk about it for days. And I plan to continue down in the comments below. So whatever your thoughts are, what you think about the movie, if I missed anything, let me know. I'm definitely going to reply to you guys. I want to talk about it. Comment down below, let me know. As I said, make sure to subscribe down below. I do entertainment news, vlogs, movies, every week. I'm aiming for 100 subscribers right now so I can get better quality videos out for you guys. So subscribe down below, turn on notifications, leave a like, it would be much appreciated. Thank you so much guys for watching, and as always, work hard and be lucky.